intro.
The intro. Hi guys, welcome. That hand was like, I didn't pick up the camera all day, but hi guys. Hey guys. Good morning guys. Hi guys, welcome. Hi guys. Hi guys. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Salamata. You are watching Salamata Speaking. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your presence. In this video, we're doing a girl talk kind of situation, and the topics I went through were confidence, relationships, and hygiene. I answered some of your questions that you put it on Instagram. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, I am at urfav.sazon. I hope you guys understand the name. I changed my name at like 3 a.m. on a random day, and I was like, this right here eats, and I hope y'all get it. Your fave sazon, your fave seasoning, your fave flavor, your fave. Let's get into it. First things first, you have to remember that social media is fake. Like, the one thing that really helps me with confidence is that social media is not real. Social media is the most curated version of ourselves, and you have to remember that. Like, even just down to things like cameras and angles. Like, the way I'm coming off on camera right now, you're like, oh my god, her skin is the clearest thing ever. Like, she doesn't have pores. I get up close and it's like, you can see pimples and hyperpigmentation because that's what real humans look like. But the camera just doesn't have the ability to take that into account, especially based on lighting and angles. Another thing about social media is that you get to curate your algorithm and tell this fucking robot, this computer, that like, this is what I want to see and this is what I don't want to see. So make sure you're not following people who make you feel like shit about yourself. I had to unfollow everybody that was like, wake up and grind. Like, y'all are sleeping and I'm grinding. Early bird gets the worm. You're resting and I'm not, because I'm making money. I'm touching bread. And it's like, no, like I don't subscribe to that kind of energy. So I had to unfollow it, and it like made me feel better. And it's also like when I followed people like Bella Hadid and Dua Lipa at certain times in my life, and I love those women. Like, I love them as activists, I love them as artists, I love them because they're beautiful, and they're entrepreneurs. I like them. You know, that parasocial relationship, it's real. I think I know them. I think they're my besties. But there are points, and there have been points since I've been on social media where I follow them and I'm like, your display of wealth makes me uncomfortable with my reality of poverty, and I had to unfollow them for that reason. And like, I go back and I follow them sometimes and engage with the content that they make and create. But anytime I feel like shit about consuming some type of content, I'm unfollowing it, I'm blocking it. You're not gonna make me feel bad on my own Wi-Fi. The internet that I pay for, babes, no. I simply pass on that. So make sure you follow people who uplift you and make you enjoy being on social media, you know? Like, let the addiction be positive for you. Number two, no one is thinking about you as much as you think they are. I learned this maybe 2-3 years ago, and it's absolutely changed my life. You know when you like stumble or trip and you think everybody that was around you, hold on, I feel naked. Where? I was like, something is missing. It was earrings, people. My mother has brainwashed me. I don't feel complete without earrings now. But yeah, like, when you trip or stumble and you think, oh my god, everybody just saw how stupid I am. Everybody thinks I'm so dumb. 9 times out of 10, those people are not thinking about you because they're so busy thinking about themselves. They're like, I didn't do my hair right this morning. I don't know what I'm gonna have for dinner later. Like, everybody is so busy to be in their head that they're not thinking about you. It's very narcissistic. I take that word back. I think we overuse narcissism now. But it's very egotistic to think everybody else is thinking about you, even if it's just like negatively thinking about you. What makes you think that you're good enough to spend time thinking about? Like, what makes you think about like you're so interesting that somebody wants to hate on you? Like, that's actually so sick and weird. So yeah, nobody's thinking about you as much as you think they are, because they aren't thinking about you. And that really released me from my people pleasing era. Not people pleasing, but like feeling embarrassment. And that's another thing. Start rejection therapy. Like, embarrass yourself once every single day. It's gonna help you. I think I did this for like 3 months, and I felt better. Like, I was just like, you detach yourself from the outcome of things. So I think the first thing they tell you to do, and like, it's called rejection therapy. There's a book, but I struggle with reading. I enjoyed the TED Talk more. So watch the TED Talk. It's shorter. You get this to the point, right? But one thing was like, ask someone for $100. Chances are they're gonna be like, no, you're fucking crazy. Like, I'm not giving you $100. And those little bits of and steps of rejection are really helpful because they teach you to detach yourself from the outcome, especially when it comes to like other people. And this helped me a lot in going through interviews and applying for college. That's why I really started it, because it's like you're bound to get a lot of no's in life, and you should be prepared for that. Because it's kind of crazy to think that like everything is like for like you're gonna get accepted for everything. Like that's not how life works, and you should prepare yourself for rejection. Point that I was on, rejection therapy. Is this light on? No, it's just so radiant. Rejection therapy. I'm telling you, it's gonna change your life. It's gonna seem dumb at first, but there's a TED Talk about it, and the concept is you embarrass yourself every single day. I like to say embarrass yourself, because rejection at first is very fucking embarrassing. Embarrass yourself every day, and at some point you won't care because you detached yourself from the response that you receive. And it's something really important I knew that I had to learn last year, because I was applying to college, and I was applying to jobs. And the reality of it is like there's a lot of rejection involved in that. Like, I got rejected from a lot of schools, and I applied to a lot of schools. I applied to like maybe 25 schools, and I got rejected from a lot of them. And getting those rejection letters was like, obviously now I'm like, it was a blessing in disguise, because I ended up at an amazing place that I fucking love, and I've met great people. But truly, that like, you need to learn rejection in your life, and it'll help you a lot, because it teaches you a lot about like things that you're usually fearful for aren't truly that scary when you go after them, because you're no longer scared of the outcome of rejection. And I say that in terms of like, applying for things, even though you might get rejected, because rejection isn't as scary as it was to you before, or talking to your crush, or going up to someone you think is cute, because the attachment to it isn't that serious. She said, but I feel like rejection is one of those things that's supposed to hurt. And I go, I think it's more about understanding boundaries. Someone's boundaries shouldn't hurt you, especially because you aren't supposed to be invested. You shouldn't be that invested. I think that's a huge aspect about like talking phases, or like having a crush or interest in someone that you want to be in a relationship is like, I think we spend too much time working it up and being invested in our heads that we forget the reality of the situation, that like you don't have real commitment with this person, so getting too invested and too attached is what hurts you versus the actual rejection itself, because it feels like you're losing something, but you're losing something you never had in the first place. All of this makes sense. It's one of those things I learned last year that like pretty fucking grateful for. Another thing about confidence is you have to fake it with your body language. Body language is really important because it's a lot of the way that people perceive you. So if you walk into a room and you're like this, and you're just like, you're like quiet, and you're not saying anything, you're not making eye contact with anyone, people are just gonna be like, oh, that's just like a quiet, shy person, like they don't want to be bothered, they don't want to be talked to. And then it reinforces the idea in your brain that people are talking about you and people want to stay away from you and people don't like you and don't socialize with you. Versus if you walk into a room like this, like pretty confidently, like you make eye contact with people, you smile at people, even if people aren't like, oh, I'm gonna go up to talk to her, they're not gonna, in a sense, alienate you, because humans are like, we're creatures, and we I think a lot of times unknowingly treat people differently by the way we perceive them, and that has a lot to do with body language and the way people show up in different spaces. I hope that one makes sense. Basically, stand up straight and walk straighter. People will be nicer to you, and you will feel better about yourself because you're like, oh, I deserve to walk around like this because I'm great, I'm amazing. And that's where affirmations come in. I'm a big advocate of affirmations. At first, starting off, it's like dumb, like looking at yourself in the mirror and be like, you're the baddest bitch ever, you're so smart, you're so beautiful, you're so capable. Like, it sounds dumb at first, but I'm telling you, your brain gets used to it. Like, now my friends will randomly catch me, like Adri will catch me walking up to myself, talking to myself in the mirror, like, oh my god, you're so hot, because like you start feeling that way about yourself. And I really like affirmations through songs, especially. Like, listen to music that makes you feel good about yourself. B-Day by Beyonce is my like saving grace. It's my secret weapon. It's how I make sure I'm gonna have a great day. I love that album so much. Definitely one of my favorites. Dress in what makes you most comfortable. When you're comfortable, you're confident. So I give the example of like walking in heels. If you don't know how to walk in heels, do not put the heels on. You're gonna feel dumb, you're gonna look dumb, and you're not gonna show up as your most confident self. Versus if you go in with sneakers and you carry yourself better because you have a different vibe with it. Yeah, dress more comfortably. It's gonna make you confident. And for me, style has really helped me with my confidence a lot. It started when I started thrifting, because it's like when you're thrifting, you really have to think to yourself, like, what would look good with this, color-wise, pattern-wise, silhouette-wise, and that's really what got me into fashion. I wear a lot of outfits that I know other people, like, wouldn't like my bright-ass green jacket. I love it. And I don't think a lot of people could pull it off because they wouldn't feel comfortable wearing it, versus, like, the energy you have when you put on a fit, I feel like can be felt by the people perceiving you. If you put something on and you're like, I don't feel good, you're not gonna be confident in it. Like, if I'm getting ready to go out and I don't like my makeup, I'd rather not go out than go out in that makeup look, because my energy is just not gonna be the same. And that's how I feel about outfits. So dress comfortably. Ooh, trust yourself. I feel like confidence really boils down to like self-trust, because if you can trust that you can recover from a rejection, you'll be more confident going into that situation. If you feel that you can trust yourself to recover from things, you'll show up more positively and confidently. Editing Salamata here. I want to just rephrase some things I said about trusting yourself. I think the biggest aspect of trusting yourself is trusting your intuition, trusting that you are choosing the right people to be around you, trusting that you will recover from heartache so that you can take the leap and like start a relationship and open up to people. Trust that you'll be fine if you go through rejection, because you know that that outcome is not attached to your worth or your value. Trust that you know who you are and that you are grounded in values that are very important, because you can walk around the world with a different kind of energy. Like, you know you're going to do the right things, you know you're going down the right path. I'm talking about trusting yourself in a very spiritual way. Like, you trust that God has your back, and just like you trust yourself to have I don't know, to like have good actions, make the right choices in your life. You know, like confidently making decisions about your life. Like, you have to be confident that you chose the right university. You have to be confident that you're with the right partner. That's what I mean by trust yourself. Like, you innately can understand and follow your intuition, is what I mean. Like, it's more spiritual, very godly, very innate. And I think the comfortability with yourself changes as you go through life and as you learn more about yourself and the way you interact with different people in this lifetime and in this world. The way I explained it in the video just seemed very, I couldn't quite explain it. because I really had to sit with that concept and idea, because it's something that I haven't vocalized before, but it's something that's really huge in building confidence and building my confidence specifically. Be yourself. Trying to be someone you aren't will make you look goofy. I think this was so big for me in middle school, because it was just like trying to fit into a crowd by being somebody you aren't. It's ghetto. Bottom line is, it's ghetto. Like, you're not gonna be confident playing a character you aren't, playing a character that doesn't mean much to you because you aren't being yourself. And I think one thing too that got me to be confident was like, I'd rather be bullied for being myself than be bullied for being someone that I'm not. Like, I used to play like I was a fucking dumbass all the time, and it's like, you would have to like know me to understand how like different that is for me. But like, I used to play like I was a dumbass, that like I wasn't good at school, or like, you know, like I was doing terribly, when like I had straight A's most of my life. And then people would just be like, yeah, and you're the dumbass. I'm like, but excuse me. And it got to a point where it's just like, just be your fucking self. And that makes you very confident, because it's that one line in Hamilton. It's like, if you stand for nothing, what will you fall for? And it's like, I'd rather be attacked on my true beliefs. I'd rather be attacked on my true character than be attacked for pretending to be somebody that I'm not. Lastly, being confident will save you money. You know, trying to look like the next gal had me spending, I remember buying a $90 bomber jacket at a random store because they were sold out at Forever 21, and that's the bomber jacket that everybody was wearing at the time because I wanted to fit in so badly. That's so embarrassing. Like, the amount of money you can save by being yourself and actually investing in things that you like and care about instead of trying to fit in with other people is astronomical, actually. So yeah, it'll save you money essentially. And I remember thinking to myself, like, yo, when I get older for real, like, I'm gonna get plastic surgery, like, I'm gonna get a BBL, I'm gonna get a nose job. That's like 100K I just put back into my pocket because I feel good about myself now, and I know that's something I would never do just because I like myself. Isn't that fucking insane? Like, I know I'll never get, you know, lip fillers or cheek fillers or something like that because, like, I like myself and I like the way I look and I like the way I present and I like the way I carry myself. So yeah, liking yourself will save you mad bread, mad brioche. I love saying brioche instead of bread. I don't know, it brings me joy right here. Who? Bro, I'm telling you, they were making me in the factory and they were like, how, as weird as you can make it, as peculiar as you want it to be. Someone submitted in insecurities. One thing I'll say about insecurities is you should see insecurities as a way to improve yourself instead of a straight up default, and something that you can never change, you can never work on. I'm trying to think, like, what are my insecurities? I'm not perfect whatsoever, but you get to a point where you're like, I'm fucking done beating myself up for the way I look. Or, okay, like my big forehead, at some point it was an insecurity, and I used to walk around with these big ass bangs that I think only accentuated the fact that I had a big ass forehead. And it's like, for those type of insecurities that you can't change, it's like, bruh, this face, this forehead, this big ass nose is what connects me to my ancestors at the end of the day. So like, why would I try to look like somebody else if I could just love myself and look like myself? And I don't know, I feel like I got to a point and it's like, why are you so ashamed of looking like your people? Like, think about how, like, the only reason you exist today is because a lineage of people have survived. And being black, and I think especially if you're African American, it's like your ancestors have struggled and survived through a lot of shit for you to be here, and for you to shit on those features that they've given you is very, like, ungrateful. So when you look at it like that, you understand how like minuscule your insecurities have been. But then when it comes to insecurities, like, I don't know, I can't think of any. Let's look at common insecurities. Ooh, procrastination. Biggest biggest flaw that I have. Like being late and procrastinating, top tier things. What I will say about procrastination, procrastination is actually, the root cause of it is actually believing that you aren't good enough to do something. You aren't qualified enough to do it, so you rather give yourself as least time to do it, because when you get it done in that time, you can walk around in your brain saying like, oh, and I wrote this essay in 24 hours. Think about how great it would be if I actually took the 2 weeks to write this essay. Because you'll never know like how good the essay of the 2 weeks would be versus the essay of the 24 hours, because you never wrote the essay of the 2 weeks. And it's something I'm definitely working on. It comes from limited beliefs, like you don't think you can actually do it, so you're gonna give yourself the least amount of resources and the least amount of time to get something done, because it's easier to talk about what you could have done. It's like those people who are much older and they're like, I could have went pro if da 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 da, I could have been this if da 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 da, but it's like you never actually fully tried and gave yourself an actual chance. I think everything has a root cause, and everything is much deeper than we make it seem when it comes to insecurities. Let's move on to relationships. Was do's and don'ts of girl code. Now, this is one that recently my brain has like really clocked. It's like, do not date, talk to, flirt with anyone any of your friends have fucked with, flirted, or dated. Like, just don't. It's easier. I really do truly believe my soulmate is not somebody my friends have talked to, and that's after 2 relationships ago, because I did it. What? Think about how small your social circle is in middle school and high school. Like, chances are it's gonna overlap, but try not to do it. I'll tell you right now, that's not your soulmate. It's not, baby. It's okay. It's not. What are other girl codes? Ooh, when you get into a relationship, do not forget your friends. Like, don't just hang out with your romantic partner and forget your friends, because when it comes to you crying at the end of the day, complaining about that person, that man, that woman, you're gonna talk to your friends about it. And don't just go to your friends when you have problems. Like, make sure you're having an ongoing relationship with your friends. That's one of the big things. Is like, make sure you keep good people in your life and don't just lose them to relationships. Even if the relationship does work out, like, who are you going to invite to the wedding if you just ghosted all your friends because you got into a happy relationship? You know what I'm saying? But then there is the whole, like, and I think this doesn't really qualify for our like age range, but people who are like, oh, like, once I get married, I'm like not gonna hang out with my single girlfriends because I just can't relate to that lifestyle anymore. And I don't know if I'm gonna feel differently about like ghosting your friends if I'm like end up in that situation. Who freaking knows? I'm only 17. My opinion on these things can change a lot. So I think those are my 2 do's and don'ts for girl code. I don't know, I'm probably missing something. Oh, if this is so fucking corny and I see people do it all the time, but if your friend is like flirting with someone or like talking to their crush or whatever, and you bully them in front of their crush, bitch, hell is hot. Hell is hot, and I think you're the first person that's gonna feel the coals, because what is wrong with you? That's so weird. That's so freaking weird. I'm not gonna lie. That's peculiar. Like, why would you do that? First of all, if you're the other friend, that friend don't like you. You guys need to not be friends anymore, or that's a conversation you should have and cut out. Yeah. Another thing about relationships is be yourself, whether it be like friendships or relationships. Like, just be yourself. Like I said before, I'd rather be bullied and alienated for my true character than be bullied and alienated. Okay, we're gonna try this again. I'd rather be bullied and alienated for somebody that I am than liked and loved for somebody that I'm not, because at some point you get tired of acting and holding up that persona. And also, you're gonna find people you like and resonate with more by being yourself, because their personality is gonna be more like yours. That's one of the greatest things I've learned. And I think going to college really helps with that, because there's more people to be friends with. Like, there's more to choose from versus in high school where it's like the schools are smaller and whatever. Yeah. Find where you were loved, appreciated, and taken care of. So yeah, that goes with my other tip. Don't fucking settle. Like, don't settle on a friendship you don't feel seen or heard in, especially after vocalizing for so long that, like, I don't like when you treat me like this, and that's just how people treat you. I don't like when you do this, and that's what they keep doing. And especially if they hold it to be a core value of theirs. Like, if you tell someone, like, I don't like the fact that you don't really listen to me, and they're like, that's just me, like, I'm not a good listener, leave them where they at and go find the good listeners. You know what I mean? Life is too short to be begging people to love you back. It's too fucking short for that shit. There are people in this world who are dying to meet you, who are dying to love you. And I tell myself all the time, like, you haven't met all the people in your lifetime that are ready to love you. So don't fucking settle for somebody who you have to beg for their attention. That's a fucking word. And surround yourself with people who remind you of the best version of yourself. Yeah, surround yourself with people who remind you of the happiest version of yourself. I'm not saying, like, those people have to make you happy, because truly, like, happiness comes from yourself, and contentment comes from your own, like, accomplishments and your own inner work. But you want to be around people who inspire you to do more with your life, and who say, like, bro, like, I'm proud of you, like, who see your growth and who are willing to celebrate you. Really do hang out with people who inspire you, and hang out with people you want to be like more, because you're gonna turn into the people around you. That's just the truth. And I didn't believe it until I woke up one day and I was twitching at myself. I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, that's not you. Like, one of the submissions was listening versus hearing, and I think that's a big part of relationships and friendships, and why a lot of times they don't fucking make it. Because hearing someone is like, you're hearing me talking right now, unless you're deaf. Like, I can't assume. I don't know any sign language. I could have just busted out a couple moves right now. But you're hearing me right now, assuming you're not deaf, right? But are you really listening and understanding what I'm saying? Like, are you open to receiving this information that I'm sharing with you? That makes a huge fucking difference. If you, and it's something I work on all the time. I haven't been a good listener recently, because I have been too in my head thinking about myself, and, you know, but me and my friends, like, when we're talking to each other, whether it be like we're getting ready or whatever, like we're listening to music and we're on TikTok and there's so many things happening and we're talking, there's moments where we look at each other and we're like, really listen to me, like, what I'm sharing right now is something really important I want you to receive. And that's something I think everyone should implement in their relationships, whether it be platonic or romantic. And then, on the other hand, when you're the person being asked to listen, don't take that as a opportunity to start beef for no reason. Because I think, I'll be honest with you guys, I can be a very petty person, and I'm like, oh, so you're saying I don't listen? Like, you're essentially saying I'm the worst person ever? And I think getting out of the victim mindset really helps with that. But anyway, like, instead of taking an opportunity to make it about yourself, take it as an opportunity to grow in that area for your friend or your partner. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your time. If you agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comments. If you have something else you want me to discuss or talk about further, leave it in the comments. This might be a series, because I really like this vibe of sit down videos with you guys. That's it from me. I love you so much. Peace out. Make sure to check out more videos. I know you see them. Look. Yeah. Adios.